Hello, BookTube. Well, it's another back-to-back video session here. It's NaNoWriMo, day 3. And NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, in which you are encouraged to join up, put on your metaphorical Viking helmet, and write the beginning draft of a novel in the month of November, no matter what else you're doing, to do 50,000 words by the end of November, which works out to, if you want to do it daily, 1,667 words a day. And people from all over the world do this, and the pep talk that I want to give you today derives directly from that little thumbnail description, which you will see on this channel, and you'll see it on a million YouTube channels, a million of them, where everybody who's doing NaNoWriMo videos always feels compelled ahead of time to briefly describe what it is, to orient their readers, even after the point when they can kind of assume that their readers know. They still do it anyway. I do it myself. It's that thumbnail description, 50,000 words by the end of the month, 1,667 words a day. And for a video making standpoint, that's good. You want to tell your reader what you're talking about, or your viewer what you're talking about. But the thing I want to mention today, the pep talk that I want to give you today, is to largely forget about that when you sit down to write. The thing that I worry about with NaNoWriMo, more than anything else, you go to the site and you have this welcoming 1990s style site, and you've got all these discussion boards and all these encouragement videos and all these, if you've got writing buddies, they're all, hopefully emailing you, telling you their roadblocks and their great moments of inspiration. And you've got NaNoWriMo putting up self-help videos about, how to get through the night, how to get through, this afternoon, what to snack on, what to listen to. Because you want to make that word count, and it's not getting any easier, and very soon, in a week at the most, there'll start to be self-help videos about the dreaded middle of the month. There's a slump that happens in the middle of the month. The number of people who have launched themselves at the beginning of the month drops off precipitously in the second week. When people start to look at that 1,667 and think, I can't do it today, I can't do it tomorrow, I can't do it, then things start to drop off, and the encouragement videos start to increase. And the worry that I have about all of that together, is that it creates, unknowingly, or not wanting to do it, it creates a weight of tension, of pressure. It's the pressure of NaNoWriMo that I worry about, especially if you've never written before, or if you've only written a little. Those of you out there who have written extended works of fiction, I'm not so much worried about you, because you know what it feels like, and you know what it feels like, and you wouldn't dispense with that feeling for all the mud in Egypt, and neither would I. Those of us who've done it, those of you who've done it, I'm not so much worried about. In this particular pep talk, I'm worried about the people who have never done it before, and who might be taking that pressure in the wrong way. You might be looking at it, and it might be weighing them down in a way that it shouldn't. NaNoWriMo intends all of that stuff that constitutes pressure, the encouragement videos, the discussion boards, the 50,000 words, the 1,667 words. They mean all of that encouragingly. They don't mean it to be daunting, to be pressure. And yet it can look that way. And I want to urge you today, if you're feeling something like that, to stop feeling something like that. Dispense with it completely. All that really is important here is you and the page. The pressure will take care of itself. If you don't make 1,667 words today, that's fine. If you don't make 50,000 words, that's fine. Those things they're great, and they're goals, and doing them feels fantastic. But when you're alone with the page, nothing like that should be on your mind. Of course, 1,667 words is not a writer's goal. It might be a NaNoWriMo person goal, but it's not the writer's goal. When the writer is alone with the page, the writer's goal is to get through the scene and to make it as entertaining to read as possible. Or challenging to read, if that's what you're going for, or whatever, or funny to read, the hardest thing of all. I'm not even trying to do humor for NaNoWriMo. And the way to do that is to concentrate on the little things. Concentrate on what you're doing. It's a familiar refrain on this channel. I'm afraid I don't have another one. in writing, as in reading, as in anything else, concentrate on what you're doing, and you'll be fine. So, for instance, when I started off, the story that I'm writing for NaNoWriMo this year, Markowitz and the Mystery Woman, starts when our hero boards a bus, a crosstown local bus, and he has an incident on the bus, of course, because you can't just have him. If you're going to have him boarding a bus and riding to his destination, you don't write about that if nothing happens on it. Even if what happens is just him thinking. If he doesn't think at all, if he just stares out the window and nothing happens and he gets off the bus, don't write about it. You wouldn't want to read about it. Now, the place where he's going at the end of his bus trip is a big, important, modular early scene in Markowitz and the Mystery Woman. It's where we meet some major cast members. It's where we get a sense of what his world is, this conspiracy theory world, because he's going to a small gathering of conspiracy theorists where he is on the schedule to speak. So that scene and the scene that follows it, and the scene that follows that, you've got the scene where he gets there, and I describe the setting, I describe the people, and then the next scene is his speech, which will not just be the text of the speech, but also all the background. That will be, I hate the phrase, but that will be an info dump on my part of the thing that obsesses Markowitz, and that obsesses all the rest of these people. The catastrophe, the tragedy on U.S. soil that has sparked all of these conspiracy theories. That's where I get to tell the reader about it. That scene, which is 2 scenes from now, from the first scene. And then the scene after that is the aftermath of that meeting where everybody's milling around and waiting for their buses and waiting for their cars, where a couple of other major characters are introduced. Because Herman Melville notwithstanding, you kind of sort of want to introduce most of your major characters right away. Even if you don't deal with them for chapters on end, you kind of don't want to introduce anybody important late in the book. It smacks of desperation. Which might, but before I get to those scenes, the arrival at the hall, the talk, and the aftermath of the talk, there's the first scene where Markowitz takes the bus to the hall, and a bus ride, a normal, uneventful bus ride would be boring, so I would skip it. Instead, what I want to do is have something happen on that bus ride, something small, something trivial, but something that allows me to show my readers Markowitz reacting to something unusual. So, in other words, it introduces them to him. It gives them a sense of who he is, as opposed to me just telling them. And the point I want to make today about pressure, I myself don't feel any pressure. It is 10 past 10 in the morning right now, and I have a 3,200 word deadline for 5 o'clock this afternoon, about which I have done nothing whatsoever. And I'm as happy as a lark. I don't feel pressure myself because I'm a hack from the old world with mechanical typewriters and deadlines on the clock, or you're fired. So working under pressure is no trouble for me. But I wanted to make a video about pressure because a lot of you are new to writing, and you might feel it. You might think, oh my God, 1,667 words. Oh my God, 50,000 words. If I don't do this much today, I'll never make it. You shouldn't be thinking that. It's fine to think that in terms of NaNoWriMo, but not in terms of writing. When it's you and the page, your only obligation is storytelling. Good storytelling. So when you get on the page and you have the equivalent of your character on a bus, have fun with that. Sink into that. What is the bus like? Where does he sit down? You do this all the time. Describe it. Have fun trying to describe it. It's amazing. It's amazingly enjoyable to capture the world you live in words. It sounds simple, I know, but it's not easy. And it's thrillingly fun to try and then to get better at. It's thrillingly fun to get better at that. And when you're doing that, the word counts and the discussion boards and the writing sprints and anything like that shouldn't be in your mind at all. Instead, it should be, there's no pressure, there's no time, there's no ticking clock here. I want to do this scene justice. My character gets on a bus. My character has something happen to him on a bus. My character then gets off a bus. That is a scene. Do that. Don't do anything else. Don't care about anything else. Just that. What are the people that are on the bus? What is he thinking? Where is he finding his seat? What kind of seat does he prefer? Where does he go on the bus? We all have those habits. Well, describe it. Instead of just having it, describe it. The flicker of thought that goes through his mind as he picks the seat, the people that he sees staring back at him, the thing that you want to happen, whatever it is. Does he suddenly realize he doesn't have his wallet? Does somebody on the bus act up? Describe it. Describe what's passing by on the route, and then describe the ending where he gets off the bus. There you go. That's what you think about. Now, at the end of that, when you're done and you're happy with it, not too happy with it, remember, we're not editing. You don't have to write anything perfect. Just do the scene. No maundering, no wool gathering, no staring at the bluebirds. Just do the scene. But once you're done with it, and you're reasonably happy with it, and the terms of happiness here is, does he actually survive the bus trip? If you can't get him on the bus, if you can't get him through the bus trip, if you can't get him off the bus trip, then you don't have a right to be happy about a scene that is a bus trip. But all you have to do is write that. And once you get him off that and you're happy with that scene, then you can check word count or anything else. But when you're doing that, just do that. Don't care about the goals of NaNoWriMo. The goals of NaNoWriMo are there to help you, not to make you intimidated, but they can intimidate and you should ignore them. When it's you and the page, it's just you and the page. It's just you and the story. And it has no other compunctions to it than that. If you write that scene and you're going through it and you should, if you're doing this right, you should have a small smile on your face the whole time because it's so much fun. And then you're done with it, and it turns out it's only 800 words long, fine. Fine. Trust your instincts. If your instincts are telling you that it should have been longer, it would have been longer. And if it turns out later on, way down the line, that the scene actually does need to be longer, that something needs to happen in it, that will be the time for that, not now. So that's my NaNoWriMo pep talk for today. Forget about the pressure. You can do this. Just do it. Just sit down and tell the next scene. And I'll see you tomorrow on YouTube. Thank you.